Hello, Feisty friends. Sarah Gross here, founder and CEO of Feisty Media. So before the podcast starts, I wanted to jump in and tell you about our brand new strength training club that is launching in the new year. Like so many of our offers, we created this one with you in mind because many of you have been asking for more guidance about what it means to lift heavy. We all know the advantages of being strong for longevity, bone density, body composition. We want to feel strong and capable, but it can be hard to know where to start. Or maybe some of you have been doing the same strength routine for months or years and are looking to switch it up for faster gains. If that sounds like you, I highly recommend the Feisty Strong Barbell Club, which is a 12-week community strength training program designed for women who want real coaching, expert barbell programming, and the confidence to take up the space you deserve in the barbell section of the gym. It includes 3 strength workouts per week, optional HIIT workouts as finishers, and a community of supportive women to share the journey with. You will get monthly coaching calls, weekly form reviews on your lifting technique, guest experts, and thoughtful guidance from Feisty head strength coach Cassie Neiman. You'll learn the foundational barbell lifts, gain confidence under the bar, and train with a plan that meets you where you are at. So if you're barbell curious or looking for a new routine or a reason to get started with strength training, this is the program for you. To learn more about the Feisty Strong Barbell Club, just click the link in the show notes. 2026 is the year we get strong together.
It's the new year. We have Joanne with us. We have Katie with us. I am Kelly. And today we have Rosie Wild joining us. Welcome, Rosie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And obviously, before we got on, as is the tradition with all British athletes, we started by talking about the weather. So I feel like I should ask you, how was your holidays? Did you get some lovely riding in the sun?
Sun, yes. Warm, no. British winters at the moment are beautiful because they're completely blue skies, but they are layers and layers and layers. And you spend about an hour beforehand discussing what to wear on the ride. And then an hour during the ride saying whether you wore too much or too little. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
And then freezing at the coffee stop because you didn't put the tinfoil on your toes.
Yeah, yeah. It was a great job.
You guys, you're really not making this sound appealing.
Oh, it's so beautiful though.
But she's not on the trainer, so she's choosing
That's true.
it, right?
That's true.
I mean, it is there. There is unfortunately.
She just showed us her trainer sitting behind her. Joanne, Katie, you also just told me Katie finally got out for running. How did the end of Joanne does this Christmas challenge, Rosie? Where she like makes up challenges every day for people to do. How did everyone do it, Joanne?
Well, I don't know whether everybody did it or not, but we had a lot of people still going strong and telling me that they were doing it. I think people might have skipped a few of the burpees towards the end of the session, but Rosie would appreciate this now. Festive themed activities sent to you like at the start of the week, everything from like a Jingle Bell 5K to a North Pole push-up to loads of different activities with great fun. So at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm going through all of the prizes that people get. So just for signing up, you actually get entered into a draw for a prize. You don't actually have to have completed it. But there's been lots of activity on our Facebook group and it's really good. I think people are going to keep it up. I think a few people have gone back and taken some of the activities to just stay on top of it. And I did get my 10K run done. And I did my 5K as well. So I did a 10K race on, I don't know what you call it in America. We call it St. Stephen's Day here in Ireland. It's Boxing Day in the UK.
Right.
The 26th of December, probably everywhere else. So that
we just call it the 26th of December. Yeah.
So I did a 10K race and then I did a 5K race on New Year's Day. So I'm rested now. I'm rested. I haven't turned on the laptop. My first bit of real work, if you can call this work, in over a week. So I'm finding the detachment from the laptop was really easy. And I turned it off for a week and I'm really trying to reattach myself, but only because you guys turned up tonight. That's the only reason I'm here.
We did give you a prize for one of the people who did the challenge, right? We gave you like a code for some Feisty merch for. Yeah. So you could win prizes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't been selected. I haven't been at the laptop. The AI hasn't picked our winners yet. So anyway, yeah. So that was it. But Katie, actually, Kelly, was out running today. She has set a New Year's resolution. So Rosie, just before December, Katie was telling us that she needed some accountability. So I said, this challenge is for you. But now Katie.
But it wasn't for me. We found out this
Never
year.
turned
Next
up.
year. There's always next year.
So what she's done instead is she set a New Year's resolution challenge. So Katie, tell us what it is.
Oh, I've gone back to my like elite athlete journaling and having like a checklist of things I
Good.
want to do in a day. And one of them includes exercising like 20 minutes a day, which I kind of failed because I didn't run yesterday, but it was very intentional because I had ran after not training at all. I ran like every day for the first week before that. So
Do you get in your to-do list? I alternate. Do you do really, really, really tiny specific things? Like I will unload the dishwasher and then I'm like, check. And then sometimes I'm like, one item is like, figure out all of 2026. And then I like, it varies.
check, already done. We're 6 days in or whatever. Oh, 7 days in. So
Yeah.
no. Yeah, mine are super small. So it'll be like exercise 20 minutes, do 10 minutes of core, like read, but I could read like 2 pages and be able to check that off. So like, and then now my whole thing is like, don't have my phone at the dinner table or when I'm playing with Kimball. Those are on and it's crazy because a lot of things I'm realizing that I should have taken from being an elite athlete into my life as
That's probably.
tired triathlete. And like last year just felt like a complete like, and I don't really know how to describe that to our listeners of what I just did, but like tornado. And now I'm like, okay, Katie, just get back to your process.
But do you think that's because when you were an elite athlete, you had like a total focus on something and everything else kind of happened alongside it to support it? Whereas now it's like, okay, how do I get the little things done when I haven't quite got the big direction in place yet?
Yeah, because I think it came to like a similar place where when I first started triathlon, I didn't do that. And then as I became better and better and like kind of dialed everything in and learned what I needed to do, that's when I was able to have like the checklist. And now that's how I felt last year. It's like my year of learning how to not be like how to do new things, be a coach, be a mom of 2, like and balance all the like lots of different things. So now it's I almost think it's more helpful now.
Do you have Strava, Katie?
I do, yes.
Did Strava sent me my year-end report. So I was also postpartum last year, right, Rosie? And Strava sent me my year report and told me rest is half the battle. You did half of the hours that you did the year before. And I was like, rest is half the battle? Like, okay, Strava.
Yeah, no, one of the coaches who I like, he's a swim coach at the pool that I work at, and he was like, Katie, if you don't get outside for 30 minutes and do exercise, then it's no one's fault but yourself. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
I'm actually still stuck at Kelly emptying the dishwasher and ticking that off and then ticking off for like sort out 2026. Like,
That is literally my to-do list today, Joanne. It's like, kid needs bath, figure out all 2026 planning. Like, yes.
I have to laugh because we have Major Rosie Wild on the show with us, right? Who manages about 500 people, if not more, in the army. So can you tell us what's on your checklist, Rosie? Because I imagine it's very different to what we have.
Well, actually, it's probably not. Although, I mean, I live in the nest at the moment, so I live in one room, so I don't have a dishwasher to do. So I guess all that stuff is outsourced. But I have a tendency every Monday when I open up my diary and flip a new page, my to-do list, I will like bring across stuff that I didn't cross off last week, but I will then add stuff that I have done just so I can cross it off. It's like, I've not managed much here. I'm like, okay, I'll just write in make a to-do list, cross that one.
This tracks.
Yep.
Yeah. But funny enough, I actually find when I'm busy, I'm so much better at getting everything done.
Sure.
Than when I have time. And I actually really struggle with that. Like weekends, I find it really hard to actually be productive. Whereas if it's work and it's during the week and my alarm goes off, I've got the energy of 1,000 people. A Saturday, pajamas until I have to get onto my cycling kit or something.
Well, going back to Strava from Kelly, the advice is the rest is half the battle.
Rest is half the battle.
Yeah. You just feel guilty, don't you?
Well,
That's true.
Guilt is not allowed in here.
No. We had our 2-week break. Usually I say we're gonna like catch up on the news of the week, but I feel like not that much happened in the triathlon world in 2 weeks. Right before we left, we did talk a little bit about the World Triathlon PTO merger. So my question to you guys before we got on was, do you understand it now after 2 weeks of thinking about it?
I can say I didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
Hashtag off switch.
Right.
Yes. That's further down on the to-do list.
It's definitely not on my to-do list, but I do understand it a little bit better, I think, Kelly.
Okay.
My summary, if I can recall what it was it's not a merger between PTO and World Triathlon Organization. However, now we may need to put apologies out on this or corrections out on this. However, the PTO from 2027 will deliver 100 up to 100 events, and they're like a commercial and event operations partner to the World Triathlon Organization. And they do hope to have not an age group element, because they didn't like that word, but a mass participation element of racing at every single one of these races. Now, some of them at the moment, some of the World Cup races don't have that age group or / mass participation piece, but they hope to try and maneuver this as time goes on. So I'm not sure if that was...
That's a great explanation.
That 5 stars?
Yeah, 5 stars.
And the branding.
I didn't even have to put it into ChatGPT. I did all of it on my own.
Oh, we could have just done that. I forgot about that. But I felt like it's more just having it so it's under the same umbrella, but they're 2 separate things still, right?
Yeah, I think they're taking over all commercial operations, essentially. I'm not all, but all the commercial operations for World Triathlon and funding them. And one of the things I found really interesting was in a bunch of the interviews at the end of the year, the PTO CEO was saying like, well, now we take on the risk, so World Triathlon won't lose money. Like we take on the risk if like an event gets canceled. And then I was like, well, how do they take on the risk if they're not fronting the money? Like obviously you don't. You see what I'm saying? Like they have to be spending the money and or else there is no risk. So where are they getting the money from? Obviously they have to go and raise a bunch more money. You see what I mean?
But I think that's what they were saying as well in that interview that they did with Kevin was that by separating it meant that they could go and get investors and then also and be a commercial partner, whereas World Triathlon Organization couldn't do that, and that the other sports had done it. I think he referenced Formula One where something like that. As well.
It works like a little different in Formula One, but yes, they made that analogy. Yeah. So
and also part of it as well, was about making them more broadcast friendly and having more broadcast opportunities. So and broadcasting every single race, from what I understand, which is a huge investment if that's the decision that they've made.
And a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remain skeptical.
Everyone just kept quiet, and I was like, "Are you Kelly? Kelly, where's Kelly?"
I try. What's the word? We're trying not to start off the year with a lot of hating on all of my concerns about triathlon, but I heard someone say, well, somebody was comparing it to the Grand Slam going out of business, and they were like, "Oh, well, see, the T100 won't go out of business," and you're like, "Okay, guys, sure." They were trying to say it's totally different, and it's exactly the same. The only difference is that Michael Johnson couldn't raise more money when he owed everybody money, and the PTO owed everybody money and then raised more money. Like, they owed everybody money last year. Like, people weren't getting paid, and then they were able to raise money. So, anyway, we'll see. We'll see if they raise money.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway. Did you raise any of the PTO races, Rosie?
No. So my interest in this is
you're like, I don't know. I don't care. Yeah.
I just like riding my bike, and people complain a lot about other stuff. Like,
they do.
There's
Rosie
bigger stuff going on in the world.
In 2025, Rosie raced in Lanzarote, Les Sable. and Wales. Now, I'm not sure how difficult Les Sab is, but it's an Ironman, so it's going to be tough. But
She also did Patagonia Man. You
Yes.
forgot that one too. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't right there just at that point just
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
But what I was going to say was that Wales, coming second in Wales, and I think, was it sixth in Lanzarote?
Yeah.
Yeah, like two of the toughest races in the world, even excluding how the extreme triathlon piece of Patagonia Man, is that how you pronounce it? Like unreal.
Yeah, I'm just a terrible swimmer, so I need the longest bike I can find to catch up. No, but I also I very much race for experiences and challenges. So I wouldn't pick a course because it's a super fast one. I'd pick one because I want to go to the country and because I like the challenge of it. Les Sables it's a fast course. That was an opportunity to go with friends to France and go and see like the beautiful countryside there. So for me, it's just all about little holidays, little trips, and just enjoying myself. And and then when I'm on the bike thinking, do you know what? If I'd picked a faster course, I'd be on the run already now. And I've still got another 40 miles to go or something. But yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of said this, and it sounds like you're not chasing points. You're not super worried about making a career here, being a pro triathlete. You're just living
Doing
it up doing it for the experience, right?
Yeah, it's just a sort of an opportunity that I say it came along. I guess I did take it, but it's very much just, I feel like a really great chapter in my life, in the book of my life. And I will kind of seize any opportunity that I can with two hands. And there are big things going on in my life, and this to me is one of the things that makes it beautiful and the things that makes it fun. And I kind of always want to retain that. And so I'll still race and I'll still do my best and I will work really, really hard for these things. But ultimately for me, like I'm very, very process orientated, not results orientated. I love the journey. It's a cliche, but I love the journey rather than the destination. So for me, I want to make sure that I've just to making the most of every moment I have whilst I'm doing it. And I found personally for me, the way I find that satisfaction is by just completely cherishing the experience rather than basing my success on whatever I cross the line, the time, the place, the rank, the points, whatever.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah, I have. I've actually thought about this a lot. And I look back at everything I've chosen to do in my life, and I don't know if I've necessarily done it with deliberately, but I think I've just always gone sort of with the flow. I don't have a 6 month, 1 year, 5 year plan. It's very much what's making me happy right now, and what could I do to challenge myself and to give myself a bit of satisfaction this week, this month. And I roll with it that way. And it ends up being, I feel like I'm at the point now in my life where I tell people that I'd accidentally done stuff. I accidentally joined the army, and I accidentally, became a paratrooper, and then I accidentally became a pro triathlete. To me, it kind of did happen by accident because none of it was by design. None of it was an ambition of mine. It's just been this sort of, I've just allowed the story to sort of write itself, and I've kind of just gone along with it. And if there's a path I think looks interesting, I've gone down it, and it's taken me to great places. It's taken me to some rubbish places, but I'm happy just to find my way and play it a little bit by the seat of my pants. Yeah.
So we were talking kind of before, and you're a major in the Army now. You're the first woman to ever pass and I'm going to get probably wrong technically, but the Paratrooper Regiment test in the British Army, right? Did I get that close? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously at some point on this journey, you decided, hey, the Army sounds it. I want to do that. What made you decide that?
So I joined the Army. I went to university, I studied a boring degree, and I grew up in a military family though. So I always saw the Army, and I saw moving around, and I saw how my dad was always outside, always doing active things. And I thought, oh, that's great. And he worked with people, and he led, and he did so much with leadership and development that I thought that looked like it suited me. So I ended up joining the Army. And And then while I was in the army, I mean, I guess this is similar to what you were saying, whether or not I go for things. I just started getting a little bit bored, a little bit complacent, thinking I was going into work, I was doing really well, but I was thinking it's kind of all just landing in front of me and I'm not really putting any effort in, but it's going well. I would really like to challenge myself and find my limits, whether they're physical or cerebral or whatever. And that's how I ended up then going and doing the paratrooper selection course. I thought, okay, well, one of my mottos has always been surround myself by people that are better than me. So I thought, well, let's go and find that in the army. The best people in the army are the elite paratroopers. So let's go see what they're doing, knowing full well that no woman had ever passed the course. But I kind of went in again with well, I've got nothing to lose. This is safe to fail. Let's just go and give it a go, because I want to see what it's like and I want to experience that challenge. And if I find my limit on day 1, or if I find it on day 10 or right at the end, fine. That's also amazing, because that's quite exciting for me to fail something. It sounds arrogant in that I hadn't, but I think sometimes it's really, really exciting some people do it on their training sessions. Actually, when you fail a session, you've almost succeeded in that you found your breaking point, and then you can work on that again to do better for next week or next month or whatever. And so for me, it was just a larger version of that. It was okay, let's find out, what is my breaking point? Like, what can they throw at me that's going to make me fail?
That's what I want to know. What did they throw at you? Yeah, we want to. Joanne and I are like, tell us about this course. What does it entail?
So it's,
Well, start with how long it is, because you said 10 days, but it's more than that.
Yeah, it's actually, it's not that long. It's 8 weeks. And it's I mean, it is twice a day of exercise, basically twice a day of physical training. But everything is tested. So it really is like you see it in the films. It's 150 men plus me, walking with 35 kilos, what is that, 45 pounds or something on our backs, with a rifle, going really, really fast, or sometimes going really long. And it would be very much a case of one day we do a circus in the morning, and then a 10-mile, we call it tabbing, when you carry your rucksack, in the afternoon. But it would be, at some point, the staff would do a big sprint for a mile. They would turn around, turn their clock on, and if you didn't pass the line within 10 seconds, you're just cut, you're sent home. And it's like this for 8 weeks solid. So we started with 180 men on day 1, and we finished the course with 37 of us, I think, were left on that course. So you've got this huge attrition rate, and your body is also being attrited the entire time. And then for me, I found psychologically I was being attrited, because I knew I was, one, the only girl, but I also knew that no woman had ever passed the course. Right. And it sort of was very much like, why would it be me? I'm not 6 foot Amazonian woman. I'm very short, and I'm very giggly. And I thought, surely they're not going to let this happen. But I sort of just cracked on and had a good attitude, I think, and got myself through it. Yeah.
Can I ask, were you, obviously being in the army, you have to be physically fit, but like, have you been training or taking part in sport from a very young age to have this ability to be involved in physical activity to the extent of that paratrooper course?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played sport growing up, and I always sort of ran, and I'd been delayed joining the army because I'd had my sort of all sorts of knee operations, and I'd had loads of stuff reconstructed, and I didn't initially think I could join the army because of injuries. But I had been running. I'd always been a runner. Never touched a bike at all, and definitely didn't swim. But I was fit. Even when I joined the army, I sort of turned up at the military academy, which is at Sandhurst, and I was the fittest girl there. Like, I didn't really appreciate how fit I was until I got there and thought, okay, actually, this is I'm in a good place here. Mm-hmm. So I was always known as one of the fittest person. And that sort of always carried on. I think partly you build your own narrative. So I was the fittest person, so I always wanted to be the fittest person. And the army, the proportion of women in the army is so tiny, particularly in certain roles which I was in, and so even more so, you end up constantly being compared to or just put against the standard of the men around you. So you do have to sort of up your game a bit. And I loved that. I just loved that challenge. And it was not a case of proving a point. I've never been like that. It wasn't you don't think women can do this, I'm going to prove you wrong. Not at all. It was very much a personal pride and a personal goal rather than trying to make a statement. I think that's quite important. I think sometimes actually, if you're trying to prove someone wrong or you're trying to prove something, I don't think that's enough of a steady base of motivation to get you through really difficult times. You have to really intrinsically believe you can do something or you want to do something. It's the same with triathlon. It's the same with any sport, I think. If you just wanted to show off something, you're not going to get there. If you really deeply want that gold medal or to win the pro series or whatever it is, there's something extra inside you that you have to have day in, day out.
I was about to say Michael Jordan would have said otherwise. So then I was like, I don't know if that reference is going to make any sense to you guys. It's fine. You're like, no. He famously did everything just to prove people wrong. He was very hostile.
Okay. But what I know, Rosie, is at any point or at probably your most closest to breaking point, what was it that was breaking you? And what pulled you out of the breaking point to make it to the finish line? For that particular,
I have a very cheesy story about this, so you strap in. So on the course, I didn't, surprisingly, I did not find my physical breaking point. I was physically challenged, but the way the course runs is I'm an officer. We have soldiers who are non-commissioned, and they make up a larger majority of the course. And there was an element of leader's legs. I had this sort of, even when I was really struggling, I knew that I was in a leadership position. So I found it really easy to find the energy and find the motivation to even if I was telling a soldier, you're doing great, come on, keep running. I was probably also talking to myself, but there's just this way you can project that leadership. But I actually was really surprised on the course that I found psychologically I struggled way more than I thought I would. Not being in a negative space or anything, I'm a pretty positive person, but I really couldn't, it was that imposter syndrome. I just really couldn't believe why I would pass the course, like what made me special. And I did get a little bit into my own head there thinking I didn't deserve it. And I was almost self-deselecting, self-failing in that sense, in that I wasn't even unpacking my bags. Everything was left packed in my cupboards because I thought, I'm just going to go home tomorrow. I won't pass tomorrow. Even though I was coming in the top 10 on everything we did, I still could not believe that I would pass the course. And I have told this story before, but I had one of these calendars where I don't know if you have them, where you rip off each day. It was a motivational one that I got from a friend, and I'm not really into quotes or stuff, that sort of thing. So I think each day I would read it and roll my eyes, oh, live, laugh, love, great. Not really buy into it. But on the last day, so on P Company, so it's called P Company, the course. You do the 8 weeks. The final week is the test week. So you have 8 tests that you have to do, and they are absolutely pass-fail. And on the first day of that, knowing I was going in with the weight of the world on my shoulders, there were eyes watching me everywhere in the military world because I was this girl, we're doing this course. And the piece of paper, and I completely switched off from my friends, my family. I wasn't replying to WhatsApps. I wasn't responding to anyone because I thought, I don't want to be embarrassed if I don't pass this. And then this calendar thing said, be strong, you never know who you are inspiring. And I genuinely had this little moment where I thought, oh, for God's sake, that is so right. And I was like, this isn't about me. This is about anyone that wants to go and do something that hasn't been done before, they don't think they can do. This is for the 17-year-old girl who might see that I've passed this and then decide to join the army, or just not join the army, decide to go and do something difficult or something that is unexpected. this is for all of those people. So if I can pass this course and I could inspire just one person, it would be worth every moment of difficulty. And I folded that piece of paper up and put it in my pocket. And I kind of forgot about it till the end of the week when you're given your maroon beret, which is what makes you a paratrooper. And I was given mine on the parade, and I put my old one in my pocket, and I found the piece of paper in there, and that's now framed on my wall. Like, it's all mucky, but it's framed on my wall, and it's probably the main quote in my life that I do have to live by, because I had this little moment of clarity that it was much bigger than just me running fast with weight on my back. It was about the greater inspiration or the greater achievements of women.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize it was a big deal? Because like you said, you were surprised kind of how much media attention it got. But I mean, I'm not surprised, right? It's a big deal.
Yeah, I think it was just because I was just doing my job. I'd just been told I was going on this course. I went on this course. I was told I was doing, report here at this time, do this. And I was just doing it. And I wanted to do it because I wanted the job at the end. And I thought, this is all I'm doing. I'm the same as every other boy in this course. We all just want the job. But it was actually because I hadn't told many people I was on it, and they kept it very quiet that I was on the course. They were pretty good with media and stuff. Like they were just more careful because we were on this army camp with hundreds and hundreds of people, but they kept it very quiet. And then the parade happens, and you don't find out you've passed until you're publicly on parade, and they shout your number and they say pass or fail. And I remember that after the parade, 2 minutes after, we left the parade square, and I was taken up to someone's office, and they said, right, the Times, the Daily Mail, the Telegraph, they're all running with the story tomorrow. They've got this about you. They've got these information. We're going to give this statement. And I was like, I found out 2 minutes ago. How do they already know? And yeah, that was, I mean, I was 28 and I feel like I had a strong head on my shoulders, but yeah, I was not prepared for that sort of reading comments online, and just they say don't look at it, and all I was doing was like scrolling and looking at it. And you can have one nasty comment and 100 lovely comments. You will only remember that nasty comment. But it was difficult. It was so out of my comfort zone because I was just doing my job. But I'm grateful that I was able to do that, so that the next girl that passed, 3 years later, we had a girl pass. Nobody really talked about it because it already happened. So at least she got to do it, and she didn't have the comments, and she got to do it on her own merit. And I think we've had about 7 girls pass, which doesn't sound like much, but the pass rate for men is only 26%. So when you then take into account how few women are in the army, etc., the fact that we've had 7 women go through it, 4 of which are in the army triathlon team, funnily enough. So triathlon must help.
Hate indoor training? We have great news. We have partnered with Wahoo to offer you a special deal on the Wahoo Kicker Run, a treadmill that will convert even the most diehard treadmill haters. Wahoo, the same company that revolutionized indoor cycling training, has literally broken the treadmill mold with this machine. With its special run-free mode, you can just hop on it and run. It naturally adjusts the pace as you do, just like you would outdoors. Speed up, slow down, it moves with you as you do. It can also simulate the terrain by subtly tilting the angle from side to side, so again you feel like you're really running, not locked into an unnatural pace or place. Or you can lock it in or even program workouts, so it does put you through your training paces, including both inclines and declines. And it's stunningly quiet, even when you're humming along full tilt. Even if you love training outdoors, the Kicker Run is a game changer for year-round training. No more trying to navigate ice-covered roads, awful weather, or worrying about going out in the dark. We love it, and we think you will too, so check it out. Click the link in the show notes and use the code Feisty, all caps, one word, FEISTY, to get a free Headwind Smart Fan valued at $300 with the purchase of a Wahoo Kicker Run. That's code Feisty to get a free fan when you purchase a Wahoo Kicker Run. We will drop a link in the show notes to make it a snap. And right now, Wahoo is running a massive sale of 25% off the Wahoo Kicker Run. So click that link and get yours today.
What was the vibe amongst like the other soldiers in like you being the only female? Were they like really like was it a good vibe, or were they super competitive because you are the only female? Like I think of
You're thinking of G.I. Jane in the movie, aren't you? Because that's
I've never seen it, but but I'm just thinking of like I mean I'm sure you got a maybe different feedback from different people, but
Yeah. I was treated very differently. And I think my rose tinted spectacles afterwards said that I was treated exactly like the guys. But having then spoken to staff that were on my course since then, who I now work with, they said, no, we wanted you off that course. We were making you do, I mean, they would make me, they'd like, if I smiled, they'd say, "Are you smiling? Run around the pack." So I would do run around in circles around this pack of 170 men, which ends up being about 500 meters. I'm just doing that additional stuff. But me being me, I was just smiling about it. It was a January course. I was so cold, I wanted to be running. So I was like, brilliant. But I think I convinced myself that I was just another person on the course. So I didn't let that become a thing. I didn't let it get in my head like that. But my fellow candidates that were on the course with me were amazing. And they were the first people to jump in online and say, actually, we were on the course with her. You know, she finished ahead on me and everything. They were really, really confident. They were more confident in me than I probably was. I would say most of them took maybe a week. They were sort of, right, let's see what she's got, and then we'll decide whether or not we support her. And I just smiled and did what I did, and I got their support. And actually, yeah, so I mean, I could never fault a single soldier or officer that was on that course with me. They were all fantastic.
And can I ask Rosie, how does being a paratrooper affect your job now as a major? Or like, is it part of your day-to-day, or is it completely different? Like, how does that work? I'm fascinated.
we're like explain the Army to us, Rosie.
Yeah. I mean, we have another hour to go, don't we?
I don't jump out of planes every day.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah, but like, how boots on the ground idea? Like, how does it affect your daily tasks in the Army, or does it?
Well, so what you do is I became a paratrooper. I went and moved to Colchester in Essex, which is where our airborne division is, and we're linked to the 82nd Airborne over in the US. And we day-to-day training is like, I don't really know how to describe it. When I was a troop commander, I would have 40 soldiers, and my daily job with them would be their welfare, their training, their education, making sure we're ready to go to war if we ever have to go to war. And sometimes that's being in camp and doing map reading lessons. Sometimes that's getting them through a literacy or numeracy exam. And then sometimes it's spending 6 weeks in Kenya, in Estonia, in Northumberland, doing an exercise where you're digging holes, and definitely not training, definitely not taking my trainers or anything. And you know, we're in Cancun, we're moving at night, and we're in the freezing cold and the rain, and it so really varies like that. And then the more senior I've got, you take it in turns in moving from command jobs like that to staff jobs, so policy, so a bit more desk jobs. So my last one was when I was I had 500 soldiers that I was administratively in charge of, with the commanding officer, sort of his chief of staff. And it was just, you know, every single day it was very reactive to people, because the Army doesn't function without people. And we have to make sure that all those soldiers are not only fit and ready to fight, but they're also happy, and they have good medical support, good welfare, all that stuff. And then you go and then you do that for a couple of years. And then the next role you go back to a smaller group, and you have 100 soldiers now, and you're in charge of them, and you run their lives basically. And then only 20% of the year is spent doing the stuff you see in films, where we're running around and firing our rifles and stuff. But I mean, during the week, it's very much like a normal job, but we might just spend 2 hours on a Tuesday morning running with a rucksack on our back, instead of you know, from 8 till 10, instead of being in the office, and then we'll go back to the office, and then we get a really good balance of it.
What is sorry, I feel like we all had Army questions immediately.
Well, I was wondering, do you know like what your year looks like? Because you do triathlon, like you
Right.
said, more for like the adventure and like your passion for it and the challenge. So, like when you're doing your desk job more, is it easier to implement the training than rather like if you're obviously going on, what do you call it? What did you just call it?
Exercises, yeah.
Exercises.
Deployments. It really varies. So I actually had last year kind of off. The job I had been in previously, where I had the 500 soldiers, we were at 24 hours notice to move, and it was very, very busy. I couldn't keep a cactus alive, which is impressive in itself. Like I couldn't keep anything alive in my flat. I think I'd slept in my bed for a sort of the longest period had been like 6 days in one go. And I was still doing bits of triathlon, trying to, racing when I was back in the UK or racing when I had time. That was actually when I got my pro license. And I didn't even realize I got it until Kat Matthews actually ended up telling me. Because I'd just been so busy with work. But then when that happened, I promoted that same month that I realized, and we managed to sort of work something out where I delayed my majors school basically another year, and I was able to have the year representing the army at triathlon, and basically they gave me all the time in the world to do that last year, which is why I think I went for all those races, because I just thought right, I'll just get the flight. Where can I go? I'll let my flat. I'll just go. Right now, I'm back in work full time, which brings loads of challenges for training. But it also, for me, is kind of what it's all about, because I always loved being the person that like juggled the real world and real world issues with riding my bike and having a wonderful time in Lanzarote, France, Patagonia, or whatever. And I really like that, having the two different lives and balancing it. Sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's really difficult to get stuff done, but sometimes it's almost easier because we have it, like you said, like we have a schedule. Like I can roughly know what I'm doing for the next 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and so I can actually plan my training around it. My previous job, I couldn't.
What is the British triathlon Army triathlon team? Because you just mentioned that you got a whole year of, and I know like Kat, obviously she's not doing that anymore, but Kat was on that before. You said 4 of the 7 women were on it. So what is this British Army triathlon team?
I mean, it sounds really grand. It is just
right.
Who wants to be in the Army triathlon team? Scan this QR code. Come to the races. It's just, I think it's just the type personality that ends up there. I think triathlon has a certain type of person that's willing to put themselves into a really dark place on their own. And this is not military, this is any triathlon. Anyone that can sit on a turbo and stare at a screen or listen to music for sort of 4 hours straight and not talk to anyone and just go into that mode. We all have something. We're dancing on that spectrum somewhere, all of us. And I think that sort of personality also does really well in the army. So yeah, I think Kat and I are very much anomalies. It's unusual that all happened. But obviously, in the same way that I was saying how be strong, you never know you're inspiring, I got to see Kat go through that journey as well. I knew her way back. In fact, I think before I joined the army, I sort of vaguely knew her. And we were in very different paths. She was the physiotherapy area, but I'd worked with her husband at the same unit and at the same brigade a few times and stuff. So we all knew each other. And yeah, I think it just takes a certain personality to be in the army, and to do long distance triathlon, you've got to be a certain type of weird.
Well, I was gonna say, putting your sorry, I am not.
We're struggling with the army terms.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm like classification. No, you're like
rank,
the
course.
Paratrooper. Yes, course. Sorry, I'm like, oh my gosh, embarrassed a little bit. But when you're like going through that course, I feel like would put any Ironman into perspective. When you're like, I did this 8 weeks, like 2 sessions a day, that's the only thing I can think of that I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe an Ironman feels easier than this.
It's funny, and it's interesting. So Probably the 30K point on an Ironman, I'm probably thinking, oh my God, I'd rather be doing P Company. But I would say one of the big things I noticed when I had last year, where I had the freedom to train and the freedom to race, what I found really difficult was that I'm very good at self-motivating, but I'm very good at it I love leadership. I just love my job. I love soldiers. I love people. And so for me, it's very easy to wake up in the morning and get my training done, to get into the office, to be there for them. It's very easy because I'm motivating myself to get my life done so that I can give my time to them. Whereas when I then didn't have that last year, it was very weird for me to wake up and think, oh, the only person that's going to be affected if I don't get this training session done is me. And that's the first time in my life I'd ever had that. And so it was funny how that was actually, and so in racing, it's the same in that when I'm on let's say the bike course in an Ironman and my head's down, I'm just staring at that road. The only person that's affected by how hard I push these pedals and how aero I get and how seriously I take my nutrition and my hydration and stuff is me. Any mistake I make, any decision I make is all about me. And that's so different to when I'm in work. Every decision I make affects a soldier's life and a soldier's, in war, it would literally affect their life. But it does affect the way their day goes. Everything about everything that we do has a second order effect, a third order effect on someone else. So in many ways, I find the army much easier because it's very easy to do something for someone else, because there's way more risk involved. Whereas in triathlon, like managing that and sort of saying that I'm doing it all for myself, I find really difficult.
Is it more why you gravitate towards doing things you're just passionate about on the race course versus like trying to climb the rankings of a professional triathlete?
I think so. I think that, there's also the element of self-doubt and thinking, I don't think I ever could be top 10 in the world. Therefore, do I even try? So that, I guess that's a whole conversation you could have, where there are many people who say that they're casual about something just because they don't believe that they could do something. Sure. And then the reason that Lucy's and Cats and everyone are up there is because they do believe that.
Right.
But I think, for me, there just has to be something beyond a time and a finishing place. For me, like, it has to be a memory. It has to be, I just have to get something more out of it. For me personally, that would be an experience rather than a number. But then I don't then say that it's wrong to think that way. So in the same way that Michael Jordan, you said, does everything by revenge, the same way that there were many athletes who just want to win every race. I wish I had some of that, because I think if I could get onto the starting line and have a bit more bite and a bit more, I want to win this, maybe I could do way better. And am I sort of, by being blasé and saying, I'm just here for the experience, is that self-sabotage? I think there's a balance, but
I don't think it
I'm
is.
self-aware.
You are self-aware, right? You're not doing the thing where people label their Strava easy ride when they went all out. I hate that. It's that kind of thing.
Speaking of experiences, you did qualify for Kona in Wales.
Yes.
So I know we have to talk about Patagonman as well, but Kona on the cards 2026. Talk.
Can I say I ran into her in Kona this past year when she was hanging out with Indy, and they said they had bullied her into coming out for a training trip. So
I don't think they bullied her. She saw Kona, Hawaii, sunshine break, ride my bike experience.
Yes.
Well, having just been in Wales about 2 weeks before when it had been pouring with rain, and
but to be fair, Indy arrived in Wales the 2 days after or 3 days after a T100 race.
The morning after. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. She did a ride for you, so
yeah. So she'd done Spain, I think, and then she turned up at 5 a.m. in the morning in Wales, and Sam, our coach, and I were racing, and so then when she was going to Hawaii, Sam was going too, and they said, "Look, we've got a sofa," and very much me being me and sort of saying, "Right, I've got this opportunity, why not?" Flew out there, and that's the first time I saw the island, experienced the island. So I think it was quite nice for me to sort of see what's coming. I mean, watching that race unfold, as you all would have done, was terrifying. But at the same time, I feel like stronger in knowledge for this year. And yeah, preparation for this year, I think it will look really, really different to what it could have done last year, and what it will do for most athletes who are going in with all the time in the world and all the aero testing and the kit and the sponsors and everything. I'm going in very much as an age grouper plus. But that is no excuse on my part. I will still throw everything at it. I will still do the best with everything I have. And that won't be the reason that I don't achieve what I want to achieve, because I will very much believe that whatever result I get will be the best thing I can do on the day with what I had and what I have. And so I'm really excited for that.
To one of Katie's questions earlier, do you know then, right now, that you will not be on like an exercise on the date of Kona?
Yeah,
like she's.
I'm told.
Okay.
There's
She's
been a
high
bit of
enough to tell them.
There has been some juggling.
So juggling. Okay.
You said you're an age grouper plus, but you forgot to mention that you're an age grouper plus, but paratrooper is at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for not, and like.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You obviously, like we said, you did a whole bunch of stuff last year in this experience, like Wales, and you qualified for Kona, which is a big deal. Like qualifying as a pro for Kona is very, very hard. You also did Patagonman at the end, because you were supposed to visit us right before the holiday, and then you won Patagonia Man, and as a prize, you get to like go off to this like no Wi-Fi resort thing. Yeah. So tell us about that race, because I am very curious about it. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think that probably is the word. They're Latinos are very emotional. They're very in touch with their emotional side, and they always say that you leave Patagonia changed. And I remember Alistair Brownlee was there, and we had a little eye roll at like, okay, we'll leave changed, sure. I don't know. I feel like I did. It was. I mean, I've never been to South America, so for that, it was an experience for me in itself. But I felt like there was something, even though it's this big Ironman race, it felt very grassroots. It feels very grassroots, like back to those local races you might do with the local club running it, where you question some of the safety and the health stuff. You question some of the marshals if they know what they're talking about. There's a lot of stuff where you go, does anyone know what's okay? But the experience in total is just amazing. And I think the people make that, the people that run it, it's a tiny team that run it. And they're all wonderful people. And the people that come to the race as well, I think I haven't done one of these extreme tries before. I can see them in my future now. But I think the kind of person that chooses to do that race, from what I saw, just every single person seemed to have a story. And I don't mean a sob story. I don't mean something that's negative. I just think everybody came and they had something to give. And whether you were Josh Amberg or Alistair Brownlee and you were where they are in their careers, or you were the girl that had come from South Africa who was raising money for her local nursery, primary school, and she had never done. I think she'd done one 70.3 years ago before, and she was just coming to do the experience and to feel something in the country. I felt like it's the first race where I feel like I probably met half the people that were actually racing and spoke to them and heard their stories. And I know, Joe, you speak to everyone, like you hear everyone's stories, but that's quite unusual for us to actually in a normal race get to know the people. And isolated in this tiny, tiny town in the middle of nowhere, where the next town, the sign outside where it says like the next town and the distance, it was like 480 kilometers or something. And especially in the UK, I mean, that is the UK. So it's just wild for me, just the vastness of it. I spend most of the ride looking up and taking in my surroundings and just appreciating it. But I mean, if anyone's ever thinking about doing that kind of thing, I would almost say completely disregard your fitness, as in get yourself fit for it, but focus on the experience, because it changed me. It was amazing. Yeah.
Good. So what were the distances of the event, or what was the actual triathlon?
Oh, it was a full
Oh,
Ironman.
full, okay.
Apart from the run is just over 44k. The bike is a little 175 or something. The swim was
Right.
full distance. Obviously, it's the famous swim that's sort of in freezing cold waters. You jump off a ferry in the pitch black, and you follow one light, and you just aim for the light on the shore, and that's your buoy. That's your sighting marker. There's no buoys or anything like that. And by the time I'm out the water, at least the sun's up. And then it's just this beautiful, hilly, arduous, really windy ride. And then the run is the slowest 44 kilometers I have and will ever run. Trail run, climbing these beautiful trails, running along this amazing gravel, just the scenes. I stopped and took so many photos. I probably couldn't it was just out of this world.
Do you do like specific preparation for this race or like your other races, or is it more like once you get there, you're like, all right, this is what we've got?
I know I should answer to that. No specific preparation at all. This for me was like, partly the guy who won the race, actually, he was like, this has been my goal all year.
Mm-hmm.
I've trained for this terrain, for everything. And I was very much like, look, I've done 3 Ironmans already this year. I'm pretty tired. And for me, it was, Sam, my coach, and I, we went in that very much with Rosie, just go and enjoy it. Like, don't be looking at your numbers, just enjoy the race. Obviously, I had to still get through an Ironman. I had to still complete an Ironman. So I was still trained up to that point. But in hindsight, would I go back and train more of that stuff? Maybe if I had the opportunity, I would. Like, if I hadn't gone to Hawaii, would I have come to somewhere like here and I would have just gone running in the trails and the hills and stuff? Yeah, maybe. I don't regret it, though. I very much tackled it as an experience race. And of course, there might be an element with my military background that I was quite okay running with a pack on my back and running proper trails for 4 hours. And I didn't see a single person for the first 30 kilometers of the run. And the bike, I didn't see anyone for I think I passed, the last person I passed was about 15k. So I then spent 170 of it on my own. And then the run, I didn't see anyone until the 30k point where your supporter is allowed to come and run with you. And then I overtook someone who I didn't even know had been there. And that was it. I didn't see anyone else. I was just in my own head for
How
hours.
did you know you were going the right way?
Honestly, that's a good question. They kept saying you cannot get lost. I downloaded it onto my watch and I definitely could have got lost. I 100% on the trail section could have got lost. But the road, the bike, the country is huge, but there was one road. And the run was very much this beautiful gravel road, but it was pretty clear. You couldn't go wrong. And every now and then there'd be like a piece of white string that would say that would remind me that I was in the right place. There weren't signs or arrows or anything. But I love that. I just love that it was just it felt so back to basics.
So you obviously, we've gotten this whole theme from you that you're like following the journey and like where it takes you and stuff. So I want to ask you if you have any other like bucket list things planned for this year, but I feel like you're going to be like, I'm just going to see what happens. So what are your plans for this year? Do you have other big things?
Challenge Roth.
Oh.
I have booked Roth because that's one that I have looked at and thought that just looks. I'm now going to be biased towards Wales, and I don't think anything will beat Heartbreak Hill. But I do want to climb that little hill in Ross, and I want to feel that. And I'm in the fortunate position that I have qualified for Kona, so I can just play around and pick races. So I think I'm settling into my new job here, and I think the next few weeks I'm going to have a look at, we call it the FOE, my diary for the year, and I'm going to see where I've got space, what races I could do. And they will very likely be ones that either I could pop to because I'm busy with work, or a country that I want to visit, and an opportunity to go and see something different or do something different, rather than, this is a gold race, this will be good for my points. Like, no, I will, if if I can get to one in Brazil, I want to do that because I want to go to Brazil.
I see the Norsemen in your future as well
Yeah.
for some reason. Definitely feel the Norsemen in there. 100%.
Yeah,
Bless you for it.
Now I've got Roth and Kona this year. I think I'm done, but I think
It's always 2027.
2027 Keltman is I can hear it saying my name.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
In fact, I want to get up and do there's one in the UK called Helvellyn, which is
Yes.
in the Lake District.
One of the Brownlee ones, isn't it?
Really want to get up and do that. Just again, a beautiful part of the country.
I feel like we should have. I was going to ask everybody else what they're looking forward to this year, but I just feel like we can't even follow Rosie. I'm like,
I'm looking forward to where Rosie goes.
Yeah. My travel diaries.
Yeah, it was fascinating. That was a really, really, really fascinating.
really interesting.
Sorry, I feel like I was just talking.
Do you have?
Explaining
No. I feel, well, that is, I do think our audience is, there's probably some people in our audience who think me and Katie are now idiots, but most of them, like,
because we don't have a fighting army. So like I have the least amount of knowledge of everybody. You know, we're a neutral country with a very small army. Peacekeeping.
You had the PTO conversation. I didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
There you go. But I will say, do you have, obviously we kind of touched on this, balancing a lot of things and triathlon training and like a very busy job, very, lots of stuff going on. Yeah, moving parts. Do you have any advice for listeners because we do have a lot of people who have very busy jobs and a lot of stress and
can I just
age groupers plus.
Can I bring it back to the fact that Kelly on her to-do list has cleared the dishwasher and sort 2026. So we could use some of your insight in terms of managing our time and our ability to get our jobs done and our checklists.
I always say I have everything big in my life is really, I have it in hand. I mean, excuse my French, but we say having your shit in a sock. And I very much have that squared away in life. The little things, terrible. I will lose my purse. I will leave my passport in the cafe at the airport and then lose my bags. I'll leave them on a train. Like I do all the silly mistakes. I do them all day, every day. I'm the clumsiest person and chaotic, but I like to think I have the big stuff that's important to me always prioritized and sorted. Which doesn't really help answer, but I think when you've got all of your listeners who are balancing life, training and work and family life, and whether they've got children or they've got ailing parents or whatever it is, it can be so overwhelming. I personally find that you need to find, do I use this phrase? Yeah, find your why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it because you love it? If you love it, then you will always find the time for it and you'll make it work in the same way that you love your family and you make it work. If you don't love it and it's taking more from you and it's not adding value to your life, then I would say, well, why don't you scale it back and question what it is you want and what it is you're looking for? Because I think we need to find that intrinsic motivation, because if you're struggling to balance everything, like it's going to just be draining and it's not going to be something that you want to have in your life. So not really an answer, but I would just
No, it's a good answer. Yeah.
It was
for
worth
me,
the pause and the wait though.
Yeah, I think everyone just has to find like what makes them happy and what makes them tick, and if that's triathlon, then you will always make it work.
What's the saying? You find time for what you want to find time for.
Yeah,
which is like kind of a
exactly,
bitchier way of saying what she said in a very nice.
No, I read one this year, which was something like, oh, what a privilege it is to be challenged by the challenge you set yourself, or to be stressed by the challenge you set yourself. Like, there's something wonderful in the fact that we choose to, whether it's running your 10K over Christmas, Joanne, or it's doing 20 minutes of work every day, exercise every day, Katie. It's sort of a case of, how wonderful that we can challenge ourselves and that we are, yes, it's difficult, but that we get to do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a great episode to start our year. Like, I feel like we're all ready to go now. Thank you so much, Rosie, for joining us. I will be at Endurance Exchange this upcoming weekend. So if you're there, come and say hi, come to our special Feisty workshop. And we will have a special episode next week from Endurance Exchange. So Katie and Joanne are taking off. And then we will be back So stay tuned to subscribe, follow, rate us, send it to your friends, and happy 2026.